50 years ago, my mother married my father and became part of a large multi-generational family in Jaipur, India. Abundance is taken seriously in traditional Indian families. Even the words you choose are considered to be important. So when you open the fridge, you wouldn't just say, "We got nothing to eat." You'd say, "We've got plenty of food. Let's go get groceries." The women in the family quickly realized that this petite 18-year-old woman embodied a powerful spirit of abundance. And when we had large family gatherings, such as this one, they would give her the first bite of food, because it was believed that whoever ate the first bite of food, if that person had a generous spirit, a giving heart, then they would create plenitude for others. One evening, at a large family gathering, the women had spent the entire day cooking, and they heaved a sigh of relief. The curries were simmering on the stove, the dough was kneaded, ready to be transformed into delicate puris, which are fried puffs of whole wheat bread. And everything was ready. They made enough food to feed a battalion, because as everyone knows, the first rule of party planning is to make more food than you think you need. And these women, my family members, as everybody else is, are just experts in this. So imagine how irritated they were after having spent the entire day cooking and making more than enough food than what was required, to have to re-knead fresh dough, not once or twice, but an additional 7 times. And the dessert that was served that evening was imarti, a flower-shaped sweet dipped in rose syrup. And they kept running out of that too. They didn't know what was going on, what was creating this shortage. Finally, my grandmother said, "Stop." All the women paused in their cooking, their kneading, their frying. Grandma said, "Who ate the first bite of food today?" The first meal served was traced back to a young teenager who lived with her parents and 6 brothers and sisters in a financially struggling household. The women guessed that this girl's feeling of lack, of not having enough, that there isn't enough to go around, was creating scarcity for others. My grandmother had the antidote. She sat my mother down, made her eat 1 puri and 1 imarti, and sure enough, all that extra cooking and that runs to the sweet shop, everything finally stopped. My mother, no doubt, is the fairy godmother of manifestation. To this day, I mean, if I just mentioned that I need a new waffle iron or a new comforter, she'll say, "Mona, there's 2 in the garage, go take a look." Clearly, she was born with this innate sense of abundance. But what about the rest of us? How can we create a feeling of abundance? So I began thinking about this. Most of us equate abundance with financial well-being, isn't it? But surprisingly, being part of America's 1% isn't enough to create a feeling of abundance inside. According to a Boston College study of multi-millionaires, now these are folks with an average of $78 million in assets, they found that those people did not feel financially secure. They actually felt insecure. And on average, they felt that if they had about 25% more, then they could relax. Then they could feel secure. So clearly, abundance has nothing to do with what you've got sitting in the bank. Abundance has everything to do with what you've got going on in your mind. Feel grateful. Millions of Hindus, Jains, Sikhs celebrate the festival of Diwali. An ancient practice in Diwali is to gather all your treasures together and look at it. Because on a daily basis, we're constantly thinking, "Oh, I need this, I need that, I don't have this." But when you gather all of your treasures together, your gold, your silver, whatever you consider your treasures, and look at it all in one place, this feeling of fullness comes up. This feeling of, I have so much, I've been given so much. Gratitude comes up inside of us. The world's leading researcher on gratitude, Dr. Robert Emmons, says that gratitude is a choice. It's a prevailing attitude that endures and is relatively immune to the gains and losses that flow in and out of our lives. Will you do an experiment with me right now? Close your eyes. When I snap my fingers, I'd like you to open your eyes and as best as you can, look around the room and count all the rectangular or square-shaped objects that you can find. Start looking. So how many did you find?
Lots of chairs.
Close your eyes again. Once again, when I snap my fingers, I'd like you to look around and count all the square or rectangular shaped objects you can find. Just continue counting. Go. How many did you find this time? Now what happened to those objects that were not rectangular or square-shaped? They just kind of disappeared, right? You saw them, but you didn't acknowledge them. Your mind kept moving forward. So when we look for reasons to feel grateful in life, you'll find it. And if you look for reasons to complain, again, you won't be disappointed. One thing I learned from my father as he fought cancer, that in the worst of circumstances, you can find something to feel grateful about. Give generously. Traditionally, the Arab Bedouins were a nomadic culture who depended on each other's generosity to survive the harsh desert conditions. It was in fact considered a virtue to give more than your means. Now that value is embedded in Middle Eastern society. So if you were to admire a friend's knick-knack, she might just insist that you take it home with you. Anyone can be generous. You don't have to be a walking ATM machine to feel generous. Whether you're paying in the toll for the car behind you, or you're taking someone out for lunch, every act of generosity creates an expansion inside. Your name doesn't have to be Oprah, or Gates, or Zuckerberg to practice philanthropy. A recent study found that middle-class Americans give a higher portion of their discretionary income to charity. So households that made approximately $100,000 or more, they gave 4.2% of their income to charity, whereas households that made $50,000 to $75,000 gave 7.6% to charity. Spiritual leader Sri Sri Ravi Shankar says that both a princess and a pauper can feel generous. Generosity is quality of the spirit. It brings up an abundance of love, an abundance of compassion. That's the power of giving. Be inclusive. The Ga-speaking people of Ghana celebrate their annual harvest with the Homolo Festival. But they don't limit their Thanksgiving just to their own community. They open it up to anyone who would like to attend. So Ghanaians, British, Nigerians, anyone who's around gets swept into the celebration. Because the Ga people believe that this inclusivity begets further abundance. Let's face it, it's hard to keep people out. But when we take the time to get to know someone from a different culture, a different tradition, an expansion happens inside of us. An expansion happens inside of our heart. And when you see the humanity in everyone that you meet, the entire world starts to feel like one family. Fear drops, love and compassion blossom. Lend a helping hand. Denmark is consistently ranked as the happiest nation on earth. Not surprisingly, Danes also boast the highest percentage of volunteerism among Europeans. International happiness experts suggest, what you and I already know, that volunteering makes you happy. It's hard to feel sorry for yourself when you're dishing out macaroni and cheese at a homeless shelter. Every act of kindness makes you feel like you've got something to contribute in this world. Anytime you're feeling sorry for yourself, and instead of thinking, what about me, which will for sure throw you into depression, just shift that question. What can I do for you? How can I make a difference for others? The moment you think that way, you're no longer feeling alone. And you feel abundant. You feel a part of something that's bigger than yourself. And finally, meditation. Meditation is a practice that originated in India thousands of years ago as a means of connecting with your highest self. Meditation not only relaxes your entire system, it's a skillful way of relaxing, but it also allows you to plug in to that abundant source of energy inside. A recent Harvard study found that in as little as 8 weeks of meditation, the gray matter density of your brain increases in various parts of the brain, including those areas that oversee introspection, memory, compassion, and perspective. So meditation doesn't only give you a moment to relax and to escape from this day-to-day world, but it also provides a completely different outlook on life. Meditation can change your perspective, your expression, and your level of observations. Meditation creates a feeling inside of contentment. Contentment is being happy right now, and that is the basis of abundance. Would you like to experience a meditation right now? Yes. Close our eyes. Let's keep our feet flat on the floor in front of us. Let's take a long breath in and breathe out, making this sound. Ha. Once more, let's breathe in. Ha. Just notice your breath as the lungs expand and contract. Let's become aware of the sounds in the environment, whatever might be the sounds. Acceptance. Now you're in acceptance with the environment. Let's take a deep breath in and gently breathe out. Let's become aware of the physical body. This body is a beautiful gift given to you with so much love. Let us love and honor this body that we've been given. Let's become aware of our feet, our knees, thighs and hips, abdomen and stomach, chest, shoulders, arms, spine, face, and head. Become aware of the whole body. Let's take take a deep breath in and let go. Let's become aware of our thoughts, whether good thoughts or bad thoughts, however they may be. Just allow them to be. Now you're in harmony with your thoughts. Let's take a deep breath in and let go. Let us become aware of our emotions, whether pleasant or unpleasant. Just let them be. You are peace and joy. Let's become aware of our emotions, our thoughts, the physical body, and the sounds in the environment. Let's take a deep breath in and let go. Another breath in and when you're ready, you slowly and gradually open the eyes. I think it's in all of our natures to feel abundant, whether through gratitude, through generosity, by volunteering, by creating a feeling of belongingness, inclusivity with other people, through meditation. Even a small child, when given a candy bar, will distribute pieces of that candy bar to everyone around them. It's our nature, our birthright to feel this way. And there's more than enough to go around. Finally, for me, it distills down to having faith or trust that we'll always get what we need before we need it. And that no matter what happens, we'll always be taken care of enough in this world. So with that, I thank you and wish you an abundance of happiness, peace, and love.